Hi, my name is Sara Lozano.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Valdez.
Hi, my name is Maisie Fabula.
Hello, my name is Colton Mays.
Hi, my name is Marisela Guerra, and today we're going to be talking about uncertainty reduction theory.
In breaking news in the world of communication theories, a new theory has been developed regarding how people communicate to form their relationships. It is called the uncertainty reduction theory, and it explains how people work to reduce cognitive uncertainties that they have. This broadcast will break the news by uncovering the theorists behind it, going over the context in which the theory was developed, introducing the key concepts of the theory, evaluating the main proposals of the theory, covering the strengths and weaknesses, and finally covering the use. The uncertainty reduction theory is the work of Charles Berger. Berger is a professional emeritus of communication at the University of California, Davis. He noted that the beginning of relationships are very uncertain, and people use communication to learn and address this uncertainty. After learning about the creator of the theory, we will move into the context in which the theory was created. Uncertainty theory can be explained within the context of 8 proposed axioms, or self-evident truths that do not need further proof. The first is that within verbal communication, as the amount of verbal communication increases between two people that just met, the uncertainty decreases. Further reducing uncertainty then increases verbal communication. The second is that increasing nonverbal warmth decreases uncertainty levels. Decreasing uncertainty also increases nonverbal warmth. Third, high levels of uncertainty cause behaviors aimed at seeking information. Fourth, high levels of uncertainty produce low levels of intimacy and communication. Low levels of uncertainty produce high levels of intimacy. Fifth, high levels of uncertainty produce high levels of reciprocity, and vice versa. Sixth, similarities between people reduce uncertainty while dissimilarities increase uncertainty. Level produce decreases in liking, while decreases in uncertainty produce increases in liking. Finally, the last axiom states that the shared communication networks reduce uncertainty, while lack of shared networks increases uncertainty. Now I pass the mic on to Macy.
Thank you, Sara, for that information. I will be going over the key concepts and their relationship. So going over the uncertainty reduction theory, it is basically to reduce uncertainty. This is to help people feel comfortable in situations they're not aware of or having trouble understanding. And this is where our communication skills come into handy. And there's 4 ways that we typically use this in our day-to-day life without even realizing it. The first one being passive. This has to do with a more timid approach, such as observing others from a distance. This helps us view actions of others, see how their body language is working, and it helps us understand the way that they're processing their thoughts just like we are. The second being active. This is reaching out to other people, which I believe is also a timid approach. It helps us understand people through the opinions of others. So information does get distorted, but it's a way that we understand people without having to do face-to-face face-to-face interaction, which is the third one. The third interactive strategy would be a more bold approach, and that would be facing either the situation or the person head on and figuring out how to dissect that situation and how they're trying to communicate that back to us. The last one being extractive. This is another timid approach out of the four. This would be going on social media and seeking sources through technology-based objects. And I believe that the three timid approaches are ones that we use in our day-to-day life, and we don't even realize it. And these four sources or strategies are what we use to relieve the uncertainty in our day-to-day life. Now passing the mic on to Colton.
Okay, so the main proposals of the theory is that we use that the axioms are self-evident truths of Burger's theory of uncertainty, and it connects his theory and the variables of relationship development. And then another proposal is that the axioms are brought together in the theorems to further explain relationship dynamics and then help the development of relationships. And then another proposal is that we use cognitive plans whenever we like talk to someone or meet someone. We plan ahead of time like what we're going to say and how we're going to interact with them. And we just use these cognitive plans whenever we talk with others. And then another proposal is that we use the four strategies to gain information about others, which is the passive, active, interactive, and extractive strategies. And then the last proposal of the theory is that we use this theory more than like we originally planned on using it. So Berger first created this theory like whenever we to explain like how we reduce uncertainty whenever we first met people. But now we can actually use this theory like in our everyday lives with more interactions with people rather than just the first time we met with them. And then now I'm passing the mic to Maricela.
Thank you, Colin. So today I'm just going to be talking about the strengths and weaknesses of uncertainty reduction theory. So in the left-hand column, we have the strengths, and on the right-hand column, we have the weaknesses. So uncertainty reduction increased knowledge of what kind of person another is, which is provided in improved forecasts of how a future interaction will turn out. Uncertainty reduction theory is straightforward. The theory can get confusing when applied to real-life situations. Also, we use this when we talk about family, we talk about friends, coworkers, lovers, etc. So what happens is we want to know basically everything that we want to know. However, we have this uncertainty of whether or not we want to disclose so much of what we want to. So in basic communications or in basic conversations, a lot of the time it happens of whether or not we do want to disclose so much. So if I wanted to meet somebody online, or if I wanted to meet somebody at my work or office, and I'm not sure whether or not to trust them, I have the uncertainty theory of whether or not do I want to disclose, do I want to be friends with these people? And we do this no matter where we go. We do this when we interact with people at work. We do this when we interact with customers. We do it when we interact with salespersons, almost everybody. And what happens is a lot of the time is the utility assumption of reduction theory are flawed, and we have this kind of assumptions and validity of whether or not we think somebody is trustworthy, and that's where a weakness comes into play. And another strength is logically and consistently being able to trust in our own morals and concepts of whether or not how we want to talk about it, and how whether or not we want to disclose as much as we want to. Also, it helps with education. It does help with jobs and et cetera, et cetera. But that's the moral of the strengths and weaknesses. And I'm going to be passing the mic to Jeremy.
All right. Thank you, Maricela. So I'm going to be going over the use of the theory. Now that we know what uncertainty reduction theory is, how do we apply that to everyday life? So Macy already went over the main strategies that everyone normally uses in order to reduce uncertainty. So that's going to be passive strategy, active strategy, interactive strategy, and the extractive strategy. So now that we know what those strategies are, how do we plug those into our everyday life? Passive strategy is going to be when you kind of look someone up on social media. A perfect example is if you are trying to get to know somebody, whether you're trying to befriend them or you're trying to date someone, and you want to see if you have similar interests, you can find them on social media, go on their Instagram, Facebook, see what they like to do. Maybe they like to travel, see if you can find out their favorite music, things like that, etc. A perfect example of active strategy is when you ask a third-party person about information. So for example, I would probably use active strategy if I just got a new job somewhere and I wanted to get on my manager's good side. I would probably ask the coworkers there about the job, the job tasks, the manager as well. Another example is if I'm just registering for a new class and I don't know if this is a good teacher or not, how the teacher is, I can ask students who previously took that teacher. Interactive strategy is going to be essentially the direct approach, asking that target person specifically whatever it is that you want to know. This is probably a perfect strategy for if you are fighting with a friend or if you're fighting with a significant other, and you want to know why they're upset. You can either ask them directly with specific questions on why they're upset, or you can try asking them about their day, and try figuring out what information you want to know by just directly asking them.
Okay, so in conclusion, uncertainty reduction theory is the theory that people use communication at the formation of a relationship to reduce cognitive uncertainties that they have. The theorist behind it is Charles Berger, and he made the 8 axioms to help us understand them better. And they are verbal communication, nonverbal warmth, information seeking, self-disclosure, reciprocity, similarity, liking, and shared networks.
So going back to the key concepts of this theory, like I mentioned, it is to reduce the uncertainty that people experience in everyday life. It's that uncomfortable feeling that we get before knowing any information on a situation that we're getting ourselves into. And it is to predict the trajectory of the social interactions that we're having in our day-to-day life. And this uncertainty creates a cognitive discomfort. So the 4 concepts that I mentioned are the process that we use to ease that discomfort in our own minds.
And then the main proposals of the theory that axioms and theorems are used to help explain relationship development. And then we use cognitive plans whenever we meet people, and whenever we go to talk to them, we use cognitive plans. And then we use the 4 strategies: passive, active, interactive, and extractive strategies to gain information about others. And then the uncertainty reduction theory can be applied every day in everyone's lives.
And we talked about the strengths and weaknesses of uncertainty theory, how we talked about we use it when we talk to our significant others, we talk to our friends, we talk to our coworkers, and that we use this to whether or not we want to trust that person and whether or not we want to disclose so much of what we want to talk about. However, the weakness of it being we end up assuming a lot of things, we end up not giving a lot of validity, and we end up like closing off onto others and making less of a connection with other people and not being so open and maybe opening up new doors in our future careers or our future love lives or future friends and networks.
And finally, we talked about how we can apply this to just a few situations that everyone may face on their day-to-day lives. Life's always going to come with new experiences, whether it's a new job or taking a new class, making a new friend, or finding a new significant other. With those new experiences is going to come uncertainties. Therefore, the uncertainty reduction theory is something that really affects all of us. However, by being aware of the uncertainty that we're facing, and by being aware of the strategies we can use those tools and hopefully reduce the uncertainty we face in any situation.
Thank you guys for your time, and we hope you enjoyed and learned a lot about the reduction theory.